just in case you don't want to be recording. And we are now recording. So like I said, questions in the chat box. We'll try to get to as many of them as possible in the end. My name is Daniel Fertig with BigCommerce based here in Austin, Texas. And we'll get to introductions in just a second. But today we're going to be talking about a solution we're really excited about to help wine producers and industry participants sell compliantly direct to consumer and to distributors and wholesale. I'm joined by several e-commerce experts, and I will hand it off to them to introduce themselves. Jacqueline, why don't we start with you?
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Altwerger. I am with the A2C team. I've been working on e-commerce for about 11 years now, with an emphasis in the wine and spirits industry for about 3 years. And I'm excited to walk you through our A2C demo towards the end of this session.
Great. And I'm George Fitzgibbons from the BigCommerce team, working as a solutions engineer. So helping clients unlock the technology of BigCommerce and using the tools and working with their business to really unlock e-commerce.
Yep, and like I said, Dan Fertig here. I've been working with merchants and helping them sell online with BigCommerce for nearly 5 years now. So very passionate about enabling and empowering merchants to be able to sell direct to consumer and to optimize their distributor sales as well. With introductions out of the way, really quickly on the agenda, let's talk alcohol to consumer. I'll be walking through a little bit about the market opportunity and what that opportunity looks like for all industry participants. That opportunity is not without challenges and key considerations, and I'll be touching on some of those as well, and hopefully articulating what we can do to help solve some of those challenges. We'll then dive into a customer story and capabilities demonstration of what this solution actually looks like. An example of a customer that's doing it, several customers that are doing this very well today, and what we can learn from what it is they're doing. So with that, I definitely want to start with the 3 shifts that are occurring in the wine and spirits industry in particular. And there is some nuance to differences, of course, between wine and spirits. The first is that, from a legal standpoint, the direct-to-consumer model has really exploded, particularly in the US, and has now become mainstream, and that is not changing. Similarly, the rise of technology enablers that are improving customer experiences has increased customer expectations, and we expect that to only accelerate. And last but not least, of course, this growth in the direct-to-consumer model and the importance around delivering an optimal customer experience has only been accelerated by the effects of COVID-19 and those that are, have been historically for the last 15 months relying on that direct-to-consumer model as a way to purchase and transact. So nailing the customer experience, whether that's the B2B buyer experience or that direct-to-consumer experience, it has clearly never been more important. When I say the market is exploding, I mean exploding. The direct-to-consumer alcohol sales in 2020 doubled, up over 100% year over year over 2019. So this is a market that has grown significantly. It is not slowing down. 44% of consumers made their first purchase online in 2021 as well. So there is an entire generation of new adopters to this technology. And if you think you missed the boat already, fear not. The market is expected to grow another 42% this year. So this is a market that not only has exploded over the last 12 to 18 months, but it is set to continue to be one of the fastest growing markets in the world. 3 primary reasons from a producer standpoint why this has become really valuable. The first is the ability, of course, to connect directly to consumers. That is really establishing a relationship, a one-to-one relationship with the end customer, collecting data and understand their consumption and purchasing habits, and an ability to drive repeat purchases, increase AOV, cross-sell on products and merchandise as well. The second is the ability to expand your brand presence and enter new markets. If you are a smaller producer, you may not necessarily have an ability to have a distributor footprint in certain cities that you want to reach. With a direct-to-consumer model, you have automatically expanded the breadth and number of states and territories into which you can deliver and fulfill your product. And then there's the ancillary benefit of actually building your 3-tweet profile for those smaller distributors, smaller producers. It is an ability to prove out the demand for your product in new markets and use that as leverage to expand the number of distributors you work with and negotiate more favorable rates. So those are the 3 key reasons we're seeing from a producer side, massive expansion in this industry. But that growth, the doubling of market, the 42% expectations of year-over-year growth going forward, not without risks. And those risks are particularly related to tax and compliance historically, right? It shouldn't be news to anyone on this webinar that there are different requirements by state, whether that's filing and tax calculation, rules and regulations around shipping and logistics, who you can sell to, how it can be packaged, what those workflows look like, centralized information of all licensed distributors and retailers. Just managing all of that information can be burdensome on an individual basis, especially for the smaller producers. And then things like trademark monitoring, registrations, and adherence to all of the requirements around that, obviously, is not without risks and considerations as well, and complexity. And least of which is the rising customer experience, right? If you get all of the tax and compliance right, are you ensuring that you're delivering an optimized experience to your end customer, right? At the end of the day, the end customer doesn't really care if you've gotten your tax and compliance right. They expect to have an optimized customer experience. They expect it to be mobile optimized because more than half of transactions are occurring on a mobile device. They have a certain set of expectations that you need to make sure that you are meeting, enabling them to buy when and where they would like. So not just the tax considerations, but the customer experience considerations, right? Especially if they're meeting your brand for the very first time. So those challenges have now been met. I'd love to introduce you to alcohol to consumer, lovingly called A2C. We all know alcohol sales are highly regulated and complex. We've set out on making it simple for any brand, any retailer to conquer the world of direct-to-consumer by combining the e-commerce selling power of BigCommerce with the experience and automated alcohol beverage compliance tools of ShipCompliant. So what does that actually mean to customers? For those that aren't familiar, BigCommerce is a publicly traded software as a service e-commerce platform serving over 70,000 customers globally. And the platform empowers merchants of all sizes to build and innovate and grow their e-commerce business. We marry that to Sovos ShipCompliant solution. For those that aren't familiar with Sovos ShipCompliant, they have been the leader in automated alcohol beverage compliance tools for more than 15 years, offering real-time compliance checks and tax determination to mitigate against the risk of falling out of compliance and, of course, the costs associated and penalties associated with falling out of non-compliance. So by delivering to you, optimized checkout, mobile enhanced experience, powerful analytics, customization capabilities through flexible APIs, married to all of the compliance solutions, we have delivered a solution that helps all 3-tier and direct industry participants build their online business, both direct to consumer and in a B2B method. So let me give you a couple of examples, and then I'll hand it off to George to take over what that actually looks like from a capabilities demonstration. Brown-Forman, for those that are not familiar, they're actually a spirits company, and they came to BigCommerce primarily for a B2B solution initially. So what we had built out for them was an ability to streamline the ordering process for distributors and retailers. So they have highly complex SAP ERP integration where they have very complex rules and bottle pricing depending on who the buyer is and their tier of distribution. They have different inventory and payment options. They require bulk ordering, complex reordering, but that all needed to be mobile optimized. And of course, they wanted to be able to offer advanced promotioning and merchandising. So for example, if there are discounted point breaks on full case purchases and you were at 10 bottles, making sure that the retailer who was buying or the distributor that was buying knew that if they upgraded to a full case rather than half a case, there were going to be price breaks as well. This had worked so well for them that they approached us, Ship Compliant and BigCommerce, to lead a direct-to-consumer charge. The first brand of which being Old Forester. And I'll hand it off to George in a second to take you through what that experience looks like from an end customer standpoint. I'll then show you a couple of wine merchants who are doing something similar. We'll then hand it off to Jacqueline to walk you through what this looks like from a back-end experience on the compliance side as well and how easy that is to manage. So I will stop presenting. George, over to you.
Great. With that, we'll take a little tour to a couple of distilleries and wineries and check out the experiences. And as Dan said, we'd love to hop into the BigCommerce e-commerce platform and just show that ease of use with that. So really our first stop on the tour is going to be at that Old Forester experience. So a really nice laid out consumer experience. So whether I'm coming to book a tour or looking to buy this directly, this definitely comes into play when you're, again, the ship compliance, all those things that come in with selling online, knowing what states whiskey can be shipped to, doing that compliance check, but also surfacing normal kind of merchandise and apparel. So taking a look at that homepage and thinking, the overwhelmingness of building something out like that, BigCommerce really at its core is e-commerce, but within it has a baked in what we describe as a page builder. So think drag and drop in nature, mobile responsive out of the box. So building out something like Old Forester does not take any code, does not take any developer, really can be a tool that you come in here, drag and drop, and able to merchandise, surface information about your product, but also make it transactional. So again, you have that experience where everything looks nice. You're surfacing all sorts of information about your winery, your distillery, but also with that connection with A2C, it's transactional. So I can actually ship this out and, create a sale directly on the website. So Old Forester is a great example of taking advantage of that BigCommerce native, easy to use tools to create a beautiful experience, but also be transactional and be in compliance at the same time. So as Dan said, we do have a couple examples. So on the next stop, we're going to go to a winery. And so this winery is out of New Zealand, really another clean direct-to-consumer site, using that page builder to build out the experience, homepage, able to see all the products, again, all in compliance, all selling within the rules and accounting for all of that. But everything is surfaced easily to see. So with here, we've talked about promotions and some other things. So BigCommerce, again, at its core, does e-commerce. So we do everything from promotions to catalog management to what we call customer segmentation. So a popular thing that we've seen in the winery space is i.e. wine clubs. You join, you can get 10% off, deal breaks when you buy cases, all of that more advanced marketing setup, all can be done directly in BigCommerce. So in the BigCommerce UI, again, hopping back over to BigCommerce, that idea of segmentation, whether you're creating VIP, membership levels, wholesale groups, all that can be set up and users can be what we call segmented in. So if I'm a member, I join their friends of the wine club, I'm essentially looking to get product level, category level discounts, and any additional rules that you would want to layer in. So BigCommerce taking care of all that advanced marketing, segmentation, in an easy to use, no code, no integration, can all be handled right within here. So you are surfacing that, creating a clean, great looking site, but layering in more advanced functionality, building that customer loyalty all within this experience as well. So the next one we want to take a quick look at is more of a distributor. And what we want to harp on here quickly is BigCommerce is not a platform for just selling t-shirts. We're talking to you guys for a reason. We, specialize in being able to sell products of any sort. An example, wine. And so what you'll see here on this page, huge catalog set. As I said, they're a distributor that's selling wines from all over the world. So how it's set up, how it's merchandised, all can be done within BigCommerce. And a big call out here, again, is that ability to sell products with specific data. So we're looking at wine category, sub-region, that's going to be specific to a wine specifically page. A specialty alcohol content, having all these nice filters, being able to drive down and do that experience is something that is native out of the box with BigCommerce. So it may seem like advanced functionality to build out a site with a huge catalog, have all this filtering and searching, but right within BigCommerce, we have catalog management. And so within a product, you can add whatever data you want. An example of wine could be vintage, could be region, all that granular information that goes with telling a consumer about a bottle of wine can all be set up and then easily enabled for how you want it filtered. So right here, we're in that product section, which maps directly to what we see here as far as enabling filters, pulling up custom data, all setting that up within the BigCommerce dashboard. So you have a centralized place to manage your products, whether those are being pushed up via your third-party systems like a POS or ERP, or managed directly within BigCommerce. So on day one, you're able to upload your products, create that filtering, nice merchandising experience, but then fully style it and begin layering in more complex things such as customer segmentation, all within the realm of being compliant with taxes, shipping, and all of the things that A2C brings to the table. And that's what we'll look at right now, how that ties in natively with BigCommerce. So I'll hand it over to Jacqueline.
Thanks, George. So what we have here is our A2C BigCommerce store. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through how a customer would interact with the site and then how you as a merchant and an operator would work with this site. So I'm going to go to wine, and maybe I want to check off the different varietals, the different vintages, select the wine I want to add to my cart, and then proceed to checkout. And the A2C app works for both logged in and guest customers. In this example, I'm logged in, so I'm using my saved address, and I'm going to select my shipping method and put in my billing details. And you'll notice on the right sidebar over here, we have tax. Now this tax is being calculated from Ship Compliant. And as we've mentioned before, tax is one of the most complicated parts of shipping. So this helps simplify the process. And we also have a date of birth field because we need to confirm that the customer is of the correct age. And I know for a fact that this address is not valid because I've shipped too much alcohol to this given address in a given time period. So I click place order and I get a message that can be customized to let your customer know that the order hasn't been placed. This order is not compliant. Alternatively, should you wish, we can actually accept the order, and then you'd be able to work with your customer service team to try and find a resolution with the customer. We can also include a reference number, so that way your customer is able to reach out, say, hey, this is my reference number, and we can get to the bottom of the issue. If I log into the back end of BigCommerce and I go down to apps and click on alcohol to consumer, I'll see a list of all the orders that have come through. And we have different statuses to help identify where that order is in the process. If an order is pending, it usually means it's non-compliant and it has not been transmitted to Ship Compliant. So there's not a chance that it's accidentally going to be shipped. If an order is compliant, it'll have a status of in process. And if we view the details of the order, we'll see all the different compliance checks that it passed. And this is really helpful for auditing purposes. If we look at an order that's not compliant, we'll see the compliance checks that it failed. And then you might be able to work with customer service and your customer to get to the bottom of it. A2C is a one-click install application, and it could probably be set up in less than an hour. Within the settings, you're able to add your ship compliant details, you're able to select your fulfillment house, and then you're also able to add your shipping methods. If your products are already in your your ship compliant environment, we'll be able to sync them over. And this is where I feel like what's the bread and butter of A2C, because what we're able to do is we give you fields to add the specific data needed to check a product's compliance. That being the alcohol amount, the container size, the container unit, and then the product type, because there's different rules and regulations for wine versus beer versus non-alcoholic products, in case maybe you're selling stemware. To install A2C within the BigCommerce marketplace and under the tax category, you would go to A2C, click to install, and then there'd be a walkthrough for a quick onboarding experience. And at any time at all, anyone from A2C would be happy to help you get set up, be able to walk you through, and then just answer any additional questions you have along the way. We're not the kind of people who want to just give you the keys and walk away. We want to be partners with you. So I hope if you have any more questions about A2C, you can throw them in the chat. I know Daniel and George and I'd be happy to answer them. Or alternatively, if you want to reach out to any of us, we'd be able to answer any of your questions offline. And if you want to wrap everything up.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jacqueline. That's really exciting. So really quickly, for those that are interested, we'd love to hear from you. Contact us. We're offering, the A2C team is offering a 60-minute consultation to help you understand how to optimize, get started or optimize your direct-to-consumer experience for your customers, help you optimize your approach with distributors for your business as well. And obviously, should you choose to move forward, an offer of 90 free days on BigCommerce as well to help get you off the ground. So please do feel free to contact any one of us or visit the website alcohol2consumer.com that we're sharing here. And we would love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Any questions? Otherwise, we can let everybody jump off. Cool. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to end the recording now. Cheers.